Ladies and gentlemen, this is really unbelievable. President Trump sends a message to his late brother, Robert, I love you, rest in peace. Robert, I love you, rest in peace. There's really no way to view this as a negative or as an opportunity for political discourse. The same Democrats that think that Trump is not presidential and that he lacks empathy, these are the same people who view him to be a horrible person. Look at how they react. Took you long enough. Well, he's the president of the United States of America. He didn't know exactly when his brother was, when the last, days of his brother's life were going to be. And it's like they try to find the most petulant, malicious, vile, insidious ways to get at Trump because they have such a chip on their shoulder that they lost the election. They've been blaming Facebook ads that nobody saw for 4 years. And they've been blaming Russian interference for apparently informing the country that they cheated Bernie Sanders. They're the most pathetic imbeciles. When they're not cheating, they're setting the stage so they could cheat again. There was a Philadelphia judge of elections that was basically caught, now going to serve time for stuffing Democratic ballots, just stuffing Democratic votes into ballot boxes. This was a couple months back, or about a month and a half back. Then they say, well, we really care about the Postal Service and oh my God, and the pandemic. Well, they didn't care about the pandemic in Arizona, Illinois, Florida, and Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, they made voters vote in the rain, in person. It was not the popular vote, which is they want to do away with the Electoral College, and it was in person. They had no problem before the curve was flattened. They had no problem. They had no problem with in-person voting. And of course, they don't run by the popular vote. They run by state primaries. But we can go through their hypocrisy. The reason that President Trump is going to win is because President Trump doesn't bring out the worst in Trump's supporters. Trump's supporters don't look at Trump. He didn't win because of his appeal to demagoguery or base emotions. He made 4 years ago, or 5 years ago now, one or two crude comments that they've been obsessing over. Meanwhile, the immigration system that he inherited was doing the same things, or roughly the same things, and suddenly they grew this conscience. The cages were built under President Obama's administration. In fact, they're so warped that they sent photos trying to disparage and demean Trump and say how cruel he is. Those photos were actually children from President Obama's administration in those cages. So you have, we could just look this up real quick before we get to Trump's message to his brother, beautiful message of love. But you can look right here. Where is the GOP blasts Democrats for using 2014 photo to promote migrant hearing? So you can look. The Democratic-led House Oversight Committee on Tuesday promoted a hearing on migrant detection facilities by tweeting a photo taken during the Obama administration. Continuing to prove Democrats are only playing politics with the crisis, House Democrats promoted a hearing on kids in cages with a photo taken in 2014. Okay, they literally tried to call Trump the most inhumane and cruelest president we've ever had, and they used a photo from 2014. Okay, they're so clueless they're so clueless, and they're so inept. They're even failures at propaganda. Then you had a whole bunch of horrible. You had a Senate hearing of people being sent into the arms of traffickers under President Obama's administration. Young people. We can go on forever. That was the New Yorker. I'm getting sidetracked here, but you can just look. You can just look, and here, New York Magazine. Sorry. Report, Obama administration. This is by Eric Levitz. Don't think he likes President Trump. New Yorker doesn't like President Trump. Report, Obama administration handed child migrant over to, and this is the actual headline, traffickers. This is an article. The United States government placed an unknown number of Central American migrant children into the custody of... Tell me moral Democrats. Tell me moral, righteous Hollywood producers. Tell me Hollywood directors and actors who suddenly grew a conscience and now feel they can preach to the rest of the world and demean President Trump when he's mourning the loss of his brother. Into the custody of... Okay, it says right here, human. It says right here in this New York Magazine article, traffickers, after neglecting to run the most basic checks on these so-called caregivers, according to a Senate report released Thursday. In the fall of 2013, tens of thousands of unaccompanied minors traveled to the U.S. in flight of poverty. At least 6 of those children were eventually resettled on an egg farm in Marion, Ohio, where their sponsors forced them to work 12 hours a day under threats of losing their lives. Local law enforcement uncovered the operation last year. Gee, what great policies from President Obama. Handing the most innocent people over inadvertently, they say, and it wasn't policy, but it happened. And we can go through a litany, not just on this topic. This is an article by Eric Levitz, January 29, 2016, New York Magazine, Intelligencer. Okay, they tried to, and he said, he demeaned all immigrants. No, he didn't. In lying about President Trump, what they do is they pave the way for Trump 2020. President Trump did not destroy Libya. That was President Obama. So we can go on forever. I mean, you look at, why am I spending time on this? The hypocrisy is unbelievable. They feel that they can go ahead. I mean, here, this is unbelievable. Robert, I love you, rest in peace. And then you have one, it's unbelievable. You have one Twitter profile, obviously a resistance type profile, with a Patreon, which is very interesting how Patreon works when it comes to anything against Trump. It's basically insulting President Trump, and with instead of rest in peace, West in peace. It's like so, it's so not just petty. It's like it's basically like this manic, very sad, very disgusting, pathetic obsession they have with Trump. They want to take him down. They want to demean him. And instead of, they're the ones who always lament that he doesn't provide any leadership and he's not empathetic. It's like they feel that they can act in the most absurd and insulting and demeaning manner towards Trump. When he fights back, they then double down So they say, well, he insults everybody. Well, he goes after people who go after him. And there are times when he pushes the envelope, that's true, but then they say, whenever he's speaking to one specific person, the media says he's referring to everyone of that background. When President Trump makes a statement, they focus on the subtext and the subliminals and the dog whistling that nobody hears but the media hears. When Trump thinks out loud about whether it's possible for some kind of therapy or some kind of medical procedure regarding the pandemic, they say Trump suggests this and it's oh my God and they pump it through the media. When Biden says when Biden calls Arizona a city, and when he says he's running for Senate, and then when he says he wants the cure to be worse than the problem pertaining to the pandemic, and then when he goes and meanders off into Never Never Land and can't finish a thought and slurs speech and all of this, they don't focus on that. They focus on Trump walking down a podium. And then they say, well, Biden ran up the podium, so his mind, they'll look at that and they'll say, oh, it's okay, he never said he's running for Senate. They don't acknowledge even the slurred speech, the inability to communicate a thought. And then they say, you see, he spoke for 20 minutes. It was the shortest speech of any nominee. And by the way, he will eventually get replaced by Clinton. She's the only chance they have. But you look at, and I will have made the biggest political call of all time. And you know what? If that doesn't happen, which it will, President Trump is going to win. Because, and I predicted that in 2017. It's not about predictions. It's whatever. My analysis on most issues has been spot on. It really has. If you watch this channel, you get articles. This is a really interesting article. Trump faces sinking polls, but has enthusiasm and economy on his side. So this is really interesting. Among the group saying they would pull the lever for Donald Trump, 70% said they were voting for the president. Only 27% said they were voting against Biden. For Biden, 60% said they were voting against Trump. Only 37% said they were voting for Biden. Okay? Now, that ties in. So you have a huge gap in terms of passion and enthusiasm for the candidate. The candidate that's won enthusiasm has won every election since 1988, including 2016, and there's a 29-point advantage President Trump has on very enthusiastic voters. So, and then you get articles from the New York Times and 538 in the Washington Post. Does enthusiasm really matter? Yeah, it does. When you lose again, you're going to be blaming the Postal Service Putin. They should just say Postal Service Putin racists. They should already just start Postal Service Putin racists and Martians, because they're gonna blame extraterrestrials soon. They'll blame everything under the sun. And so you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where they are completely devoid of any civility, yet they say that they want a president who acts presidential. They've never treated him like a president. You had Madonna saying she wanted to dismantle the White House. It's really another word. Starts with a B, ends with a B. I mean, you can't really say everything you want on YouTube. So, subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. If you want to support my voice long-term to my 14-minute crowd, my Patreon is below. Your support is greatly appreciated, and it helps me do my thing. This election has brought out the worst of Democrats and liberals. Who are the people that call up friends and family and tell them that, oh, I can't be your friend anymore. I can't talk to you anymore. The sick, disgruntled, pathetic, angry fools on the left. Who are the people who would take 20, 30 years of friendship and say, gosh, Trump is so bad, and you're supporting him. Oh, but you didn't care about the cages with Obama. You didn't care about the lives, the tens, hundreds of thousands of lives ruined, lost in places like Libya because of President Obama's intervention. Then you get people on the left. Well, interventions are not always so bad. I mean, come on, look at Bill Clinton in 1999. Yeah, that wasn't an effective intervention either. But that wasn't, though, a regime change, and that wasn't sending Americans off to patrol streets with IEDs. That wasn't keeping Americans in never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts like Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld sent them to. The Lincoln Project, the biggest, the Democratic Party is so inept and incompetent and foolish that they promote the Lincoln Project, and the Lincoln Project people ran on a marriage amendment to ban gay marriage forever, and they got us into never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts based on faulty intelligence. And the wonderful intelligence community has been wrong since, the Bay of Pigs and Gulf of Tonkin. And, now we have Facebook ads and then WMD with Bush. Tell me when they've been right about something. And now they're like, Russia wants Trump again. But then two other countries, China, and then, they want Democrats. What do I care? Every election has countries that want one candidate or another. Who cares? It's like childish. Like, who cares? You do what's right for your country. You don't focus on Putin. They have the 12th ranked economy in the world. The Cold War is over. And President Obama stated the 80s want their foreign policy back with Mitt Romney. My God. You're talking about people who will create their own reality. They're even getting divorced over it. These people have serious issues. There are couples that are getting divorced because of the past election. There are couples who have problems. This isn't like Psychology Today. You have people on the left writing articles that you did why you should dump that Trump supporter, and then the logic is, if the person supports Trump, they support all the policies. Oh, well, tell me, Democrat, do you support just causing Libya to be a failed state? Why don't you go vacation there? See if it's safe. Go now. Look what President Obama and Biden and Clinton have done. Why don't you visit the places that the Lincoln Project people go? And when the pandemic's over, go take a nice vacation to all the countries that Bush, Cheney, Rumsfeld, and Clinton, Biden, and President Obama helped out. There's 4 or 5 that their foreign policy completely turned into either failed states or fledgling states or countries that have to deal with the same atrocities or worse atrocities than prior to the foreign policy decisions. So, what? You never see Democrats talk about Libya. It's the worst. It's one of the worst mistakes that we've ever made in terms of foreign policy. It caused a country to be a failed state. It was not a failed state prior to President Obama's intervention. Again, but then you get the left saying, I just think that, sometimes we need to intervene. These are the same people who, if you say a word they don't like, it's, oh my God, words. It's true, words hurt, obviously, but they focus more on words than regime changes that destabilize regions of the world. So they're all over the place. When they lose again, it's going to be so rewarding and euphoric and fantastic. And the left is about insults and demeaning others and mocking others and silencing others, and then complaining that that Trump or Trump supporters are horrible human beings, when they're the ones who act in the most unethical and immoral manner. And they're the ones who don't know what hypocrisy means. They're the most hypocritical people on the planet. They don't know what they think it means whataboutism. They say, it's whataboutism. No, it's called hypocrisy. It's you should always don't ever debate any Democrat from now till the end of time. Their minds are completely warped. But if you have to, I mean, I have no problem. I would love to debate any of the 1 million to 3 million sub people on YouTube, but they won't debate me because I know all their deep, dark secrets. I'd ask them questions like, hey, you got $20 million in venture capital funding. Why are you still hosting fundraisers? What does that even mean? And, oh, by the way, you have like a whole bunch of political action committees that are, where hundreds of thousands of dollars are going from one LLC to another. I mean, I'd ask a million questions, but you can go on forever. These people are just, they act in the most vile manner. And then when Trump responds, they say, my God, he lacks empathy. His brother passed away, and they're still making fun of him. Like, they think that this is like, they're going after a bully, but it just shows how weak and pathetic they are. And it shows how little empathy they have. Because if you were so like lofty and you had such ideals and you would at least hold back when President Trump's, and then the hashtag wrong Trump. I mean, it's like, what did he do? Did he cause a country like Libya to be a failed state? No, that was President Obama. Did he drink Flint water and say it was safe to drink when it was still poisonous? No, that was President Obama. So, I mean, you got to ask yourself, the track record of Democrats when it comes to everything from human rights to decency to honor to integrity has been horrendous. To election integrity, they couldn't even find the winner of Iowa. Their own Iowa It's unbelievable. Have you ever been one? I am one. That's what Biden. Anyway, so. Give me your thoughts below. Biden's going to get crushed if it's Biden, but it's going to be Hillary Clinton. I don't know how, but she's the only chance they have, and she will lose to Trump. But she's a superior candidate to Biden, and they could simply, and there's actually, Donna Brazile was thinking of replacing Clinton after the New York incident. That was in the Washington Post I was reading, and they can do that. The fact that a nominee has already been chosen technically, which is not really a nominee, whatever. They can replace Biden tomorrow or any time before the debates. It's in their bylaws that they really care about. This is a fact. There were numerous articles. I can give you. There's a Washington Post article. I can tell you right now. Washington Post article that talks about, here, I'll show you, or I'll tell you. Whenever Brazile got frustrated with Clinton's aides, she writes, she would remind them that the DNC charter empowered her to initiate the replacement of the nominee. If a nominee became disabled, she explains, the party chair would oversee a complicated process of filing the vacancy that would include a meeting of the full DNC. So the morning of September 12th, after the incident in New York, Brazile got a call from Biden's chief of staff saying the vice president wanted to speak with her. She recalls thinking, "Gee," and then Bernie Sanders's campaign, Jeff Weaver, campaign manager, Senator Sanders, called too, and then even Martin O'Malley called. So everyone was. Biden probably called just to find out how she was doing. The others probably called to see if they could actually become nominee or replace Clinton. But this is an article in the Washington Post. And you see what's taking place with Biden. Here, Joe Biden squashes idea that he might have taken over Hillary Clinton presidential run. So they were talking about they can replace the nominee if, God forbid, there's some issue, but they can also replace the nominee if polls show that he can't win. Biden can't win. He's not going. Look. In 2016, I called the election. NPR quoted me. The link is below. I am telling you now, you cannot win an election without enthusiasm. Biden has zero enthusiasm. Clinton could get close to winning. She would still lose to Trump, but she would do much better than Biden. And they'll eventually either have a meeting or something and replace Biden with Clinton. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. They can easily replace the nominee. It's in their bylaws. I just read you. There's also a Ballotpedia article. There's a 538 article. They don't run by any rules. The absurd notion is not that Biden's replaced by Clinton. The absurd notion is that the ludicrous idea is that they really care about the integrity of their nomination process and that voters would care either way. That would completely energize the entire election and get Democrats going. It still wouldn't help because Trump would still win. Give me your thoughts below. God bless President Trump's family. And when they're going after Trump for saying, Robert, I love you, rest in peace, that just shows how pathetic and sad they are. And it is one of the many reasons, like I mentioned a million reasons, it's one of the many reasons that they will eventually lose. In addition to blaming Facebook ads that nobody saw and blaming the fact that we found out the DNC was cheating Bernie Sanders, go on forever. Give me your thoughts below. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. That's below in the pinned comment. And if you want to support my work long term, my Patreon is below to my 27-minute crowd. My email address is contactgoodman78@gmail.com. Let me know if you want to be part of a newsletter. Be here at 9 p.m. Pacific tonight. I have the best late evening live stream in all of YouTube. Be here at 9 p.m. Pacific tonight for the live stream.